Hey, welcome back to Seed, Soil, Water. So we hear all the time, love the Lord your God with all your heart and your mind and your strength. The heart is our subconscious, what is deep down buried. It's the underlayer. It's the underlayer that actually fueling your thoughts and your processes. And really, it's the root systems that dictate beliefs. The mind is the awareness, the conscious. So heart I perceive to be your subconscious, and the mind is your conscious, what you actually can hear yourself thinking, where the subconscious is the underlayer that is dictating how you think. And sometimes we are unaware of our subconscious, and it's really important to know what's going on there underneath the surface and deep down in the soil. And the soul, the divine identity, the I amness of yourself. It's the unique blueprint of your identity that was deposited here into a vessel from outside of time, from the spirit realm. So we have the seeds, which are our thoughts. We have the soil, which is the subconscious. We have the water, which is like the spirit of life, the living water of truth, that then it's the memra flow. It's the program that allows all of this to grow. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Well, our heart is like our subconscious mind. So it's telling us here, tend to the subconscious, tend to that soil in which you're planting everything you do. Your entire life resides in this soil. Your thoughts are taking root in this soil. So ensure that the subconscious is tended to. Ensure that you're uprooting the weeds, that you're healing the trauma, that you're allowing the spirit of life to water the good seeds, because everything you do is going to flow from the soil of your subconscious. So it's important to pay attention and to know that you have a plethora of different experiences that you've both experienced firsthand as well as inherited. And it's important to tend to those and identify what are the seeds you want, what are weeds that are just taking up space and taking up the health of the soil and that need to be uprooted and removed. So that's why we're here, and that's what we're doing, and we are proactively taking account.
Before we can look at using natural laws to attract what you desire, we must first understand what it is. Simply put, natural law is an observable law relating to natural phenomena. Simply put, these laws govern everything that happens in the universe. These laws aren't good or bad. They don't aim to help or hurt or be positive or negative. They simply are, and in their neutrality, they are precise. The problem is that not many are aware of this. These laws operate in our lives constantly, dictating the results we get. Have you ever had a dream that seems to come true a few days later? Do you get a bad feeling, and what you feared came to pass? The universe does not discriminate between good and bad. The thoughts you have, whatever they are, will manifest with no regard for impact.
So that was really interesting. The program is written in such a way that whatever you're meditating on deeply and feeling, experiencing in your being is what will often echo out into the physical realm. And I've experienced this firsthand multiple times. My biggest fear as a little girl was my house burning down. I was terrified of that. And then it happened. And it's something that I probably thought about all the time. I inherited worrying as a way of life. And it took actual learning how to take my thoughts captive.
Desire, from money in abundance to your dream house and a soulmate. The law of attraction states that the things you focus on in your life are what you will attract into your life. Here, thoughts are a form of energy. So when you think, I hope I won't fall sick, the universe doesn't conclude that you don't wish to fall sick. It only picks up on your negativity and fear and returns the same energy back to you.
For those who have been told that these laws are evil and that it's new age and that it's not of the word, I've been looking up different scriptures that talk about the heart, because I'm making the connection now, realizing the heart, everything we're talking about in the word about heart is really like the subconscious mind. Proverbs 27:19 says, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Literally this principle that we were just talking about. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. So your life will indeed reflect your subconscious mind. And hence, that's why we're here. That's why we pay attention. That's why we're doing the work to actually manage our subconscious mind in order to reprogram it, to check the script that's running down there, check the trauma that's still living there, check the unhealed wounds, see what needs to be healed, with the revelation, knowing that all things are possible for those who believe, like everything is possible, and that his desires for us are exceedingly abundantly far above anything we could ask, think, or imagine, and that it's available to all of us equally in the spirit, and that he is not a respecter of persons. So that means not only will he bless whoever, but he'll also allow you to live in whatever gunk you're living in. It's your choice. It's your free will. This is also why Seed, Soil, Water Spa is there, because it's purposely, intentionally setting our minds and our hearts on the things above, the things that we want, the heavenly things, so that we can see them reflected in the physical so below.
Albert Einstein said, quote, "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics."
So this is information that we've had for a very long time. Nikola Tesla was also somebody that harnessed this understanding of energy, frequency, vibration. Once again, if you are under the religious umbrella thinking, oh, all of those words, energy and frequency, it's bad. Sound is a wave that the creator spoke things into being. And I invite you to watch the video series called Quantum Physics, the Word, and Manifestation, because we go over that in more detail about how everything breaks down to a single particle, and the particle is light and sound, and it really does align with the creation story. My passion is bringing all of these things together to ensure that those of us who have been in full pursuit of the mysteries of the kingdom are not going to miss out, because we have been placed into a pendulum, an energy pendulum of religion that is keeping people bound, because the energy pendulum's basis is that they operate on people remaining in the energy pendulum. But it says, "For whom the Son has set free, you will be free indeed." In another translation, "If the Son has set you free, then you will be free indeed."
When you raise your vibrations to the thing you want to achieve, nothing stops you from attracting the object of your desire. The universe is in a constant state of movement, and these movements are vibrations. The speed of rate at which it vibrates is called a frequency. The only difference between any two objects is their frequency. Even objects you believe are static or still, like a table or a house, vibrate at a slow speed.
When you photograph mass, you can photograph the energy coming from it. You can photograph a plant, and you'll see there's a vibration coming from the plant. Everything vibrates. A garden rock is vibrating. Everything moves. Nothing rests.
That reminds me of that scripture that talks about even the rocks will praise you.
Your body, however, vibrates at an extremely high rate, and it impacts more than you know.
It starts right in your own mind, right in your own head. Your mind activates brain cells. And when those brain cells are activated, you impact the whole universe. Do you know that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space?
Your thoughts and feelings control the vibration of your body. And because that's the case, you also have the power to dictate the frequency you vibrate at. Your feelings or your vibrations will attract people and things to you that are a vibrational match.
Your thoughts and your feelings will attract. And it's when they're in conjunction together. And that's why it says that the creator checks the heart. What you actually believe in your subconscious, that matched with your conscious thoughts, are what will produce. That's what will actually send the signal. That's what will actually emit the frequency to create results. And it doesn't matter if it's for a negative or for a positive. It's just whatever the signal is, the thought plus the associated feeling that it produces with revelation beneath it. Faith is substance. Faith is currency. Faith is substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things unseen. So that's where belief, it's whatever you're really believing, feeling deep within your subconscious, in your heart, that matched with the associated thought together will emit the signal that will then like submit the order to the program, which is what people call the universe. God designed it, the creator designed it, and we're living within it. Why? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm just a seeker, enjoying the adventure of exploration. So here we are together. Let's keep going.
While it is accurate to assume that your thoughts become things, it's more accurate to say that your vibration becomes things.
Sometimes our lives run into the lives of other people who are not managing. And maybe they were managing at one point and something happened that derailed them and they did not know how to get out of the spiral, like atoms running into each other and then creates a spiral. And how do we recover from the spiral? And that's where, as so long as we continue doing the work in our own mind, in our own life, and just continue focusing on what it is that we are choosing to order up, then eventually in time, it will shake out to be so. And I think the biggest key is to not panic when you face the resistance, when you come against the edge, the resistance of the situation, and do not allow it to derail you, to make you think that it's all over and it's never going to come. And don't take the bait to then go into lack of faith, negativity zone. Instead, just be like, nope, just choose to believe. Everything is always working out. It's either working out now or it's working out with interest. It's a blessing or it's a blessing in disguise. Just choose to believe that the memra flow is always working on your behalf just because it is, and not, there is no, and if you want to believe that it never is and it's not, then that's the signal that you will tune to. And we each have the free will to choose our reality.
The difference between the law of attraction and the law of vibration is that the former focuses on what you want, while the latter tells you what you have to give in order to receive.
There's something that you want, but who are you being? Yeah, we know what we all want, but who are we being? Are we aligning with the revelation, the expectation, or just hoping with an empty hope, not a fullness of trust? And once again, Seeds, Oil, Water Spa, I'm creating experiences that we can tune into, and revelation sounds that we can tune into in order to set our minds to the revelation flow and get ourselves in that positioning. And then the whole point is just then hold on and allow it to come through.
We teach you the primary cause of the good that you desire. You take care of the cause, the effect always takes care of itself.
So, how can you begin to think and feel differently in order to attract your dream life? Channeling your vibrational energy consciously in the right direction has the incredible potential to create miracles. Therefore, paying attention to your energy, as well as the energy of the people and things that surround you, can help you elevate your vibrations and exist at the same frequency as the things you desire.
How much of this is related to the people that are around me? How much of this is related to what I'm attracting or putting out? What am I generating these toxic relationships, or is it from what they're putting out? There's something huge about what is being projected onto you based on another person's understanding. I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I don't have it all sorted out. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's about how our bodies are programmed with experiences, and there are certain relationships where I have tried to continuously have these relationships, and it's almost like my being shrinks into a different version of myself because of the original programming that was started, that was experienced from these relationships. But I'm coming to find what we really owe each other is to do the work internally. It's me versus me. It's you versus you. All of us ought to be doing our internal work on ourselves. And so long as we are each managing our subconscious mind, managing the garden of our life and our minds, we will all come out better on the other side.
Quantum physics postulates that every particle in the universe is made up of energy, and microscopic studies have shown that matter is composed of molecules and atoms that also vibrate at a certain frequency. Our bodies are 99.999% empty space. In fact, all matter is mostly space, and the remaining mass is energy. If we condensed every living being to the point where there was no space between molecules, the entirety of our species would fit into the volume of a sugar cube. This empty space isn't for nothing. It allows for atoms to oscillate, electrons to pop in and out, and waves to function. And this is where the quantum world takes place, in the space between mass. A majority of our bodies are made up of quantum particles that we don't fully understand yet. To date, we've really only studied less than 1% of our bodies because we've only focused on the physical part, the part we can see and touch and feel. Because we're physical beings, we understand mass, matter, and atoms quite well because these things operate in a way similar to how we experience our physical reality. However, how can we begin to understand emptiness? We don't see it or feel it. It isn't tangible. And yet, it's the most important part of ourselves. And the law of vibration operates in this space, or more precisely, within the oscillations in space that we experience at an atomic level. It's rooted in quantum mysticism, which cites quantum mechanics. Essentially, our bodies are made of information and energy that we can only perceive as solid matter because we never learned any different. The way the quantum world functions is still largely unknown to us because it's still a very new field. It's still a work in progress in the scientific community and still quite elusive. In the quantum world, you could throw a ball at a wall and it might reappear behind you and hit you on the head. These electrons are present everywhere and nowhere, all simultaneously, and they can only be perceived as 100% real when there's an observer. And we still don't know why it works that way.
All of creation is awaiting the revelation of the sons and the daughters of the Creator, because now I believe the reason behind that is because the electrons are awaiting us to observe them and to direct them and to have dominion over this created place, and to, with that knowledge and revelation, create atmospheric shifting thoughts that then resolve, that bring shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken. So I'm going to wrap it up here. This video is getting long, and stay tuned for the next part, and be blessed, be well, be free.